Well, Lil Durk, another case that my man Drew Finling is in charge of. Prosecutors said that Lil Durk is too dangerous to be granted a bond. They're saying he's both a flight risk and a danger to the community, citing a history of offering money for killings and use of power and influence to orchestrate violence. Now, Durk's legal team countered that his lyrics, used by feds as evidence, were written months before the murder and really didn't have anything to do with anything. They offered house arrest, GPS monitoring, passport surrender, a large financial bond, but ultimately he's not getting a bond. Does that surprise you?
No.
Why is that?
Because he's accused of orchestrating a fucking assassination and flying the killers on private jets. I don't know how the fuck you're going to... That's some crazy... And they did it with a machine gun. That's some mobster shit right there. That's not bondable.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a rumor right now that OTF Vonni, which is one of the core members, is allegedly cooperating. You heard about this?
I heard about it. I don't know the truth behind it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, they're saying that he's trying to separate his case and so forth, and there's some certain paperwork that was filed, so we don't really know. But listen, I've been saying this the whole time. If Vonni or Didi turns on him, it's a wrap. Now, if they don't, he has a chance of beating it.
Yeah, I think he has a chance of beating it, and not only that, I think the feds are on a fucking losing streak lately. Because there's a lot of people beating fucking cases, and not for nothing, I came onto your platform with a fuck your favorite rapper shirt with Boston Richie in the interrogation room. And Boston Richie just beat his Fed case.
He did?
You know what I mean? They had him tied to mad guns and all types of crazy shit. He beat that. He got a mistrial on the weed, and I guess he got to go back for the weed, but that ain't nothing compared to what the fuck he just beat. So it's like, you know what I mean? And he had co-defendants in that case, his own brother, and I think a couple of other people. And all of them kept that shit quiet, and they beat the case.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is the feds turn to, not only the feds, but also the state, because you saw this in the YSL case. They've become clout chasers as opposed to law enforcement.
I believe that, and I believe they're also picking people and biting off more than they can chew.
Right.
It's one thing to indict some bumfuck that gets caught with a gun and he's a felon. It's another thing to indict people that have millions of dollars and a machine behind them worth even more. Because now you're fucking with some big money. Those federal prosecutors are not getting paid the amount of money that these rappers are. So when these boys are showing up to court with 20 million behind them, it's like, yeah, let's play ball. And they're fucking spanking ass right now in the courtroom.
Yeah, this reminds me. I remember, because, I'm older than you. I remember when the OJ trial happened, right?
Damn, you were around for that shit?
I was around for that shit. That happened in the early 90s, right? And at the time, my mom was working for the government, right? She worked for the Navy. She wasn't in the military, but she was like, an employee that worked for the Navy, right? So she was a government worker.
Okay.
And I remember I was talking to her, I said, how did OJ beat this case? And she said, you have the world's best lawyers that are going up against government workers. And she was a government worker. See what I'm saying? She was like, the level of expertise is not as great with us as it is with, these dream teams.
Right.
These Drew Finlings, these Brian Steeles, these Johnny Cochrans. Like I remember I was hanging out with Drew Finling, right? We were having dinner. And he had been around Johnny Cochran, right? And I said, let me ask you a question, Drew. You're a top lawyer. Was Johnny really as good as they say, or was it just hype because of the OJ case? He goes, oh, no, he really was as good as they say. I'm like, why is that? He goes, okay, I'll give you an example. Johnny had this gift where he would get things wrong and somehow look like he was right. So let's just say that you were on the stand, right? And Johnny was cross-examining you, right? He goes, okay, now, Jake, your first name is spelled J-A-K, right? No, actually, it's J-A-K-E. Exactly! J-A-K-E. And everyone would be looking at it going like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Right?
That sounds like arguing with my girlfriend. Fucking.
You know what I'm saying? Right. He just had this way of getting it wrong and making it look like he was right the whole time. And, and he was just good with if you don't quit, you must have quit. Like, it's a whole, if it don't fit, you must have quit. It's like the whole thing. Some, these top lawyers, man, are brilliant, are magicians in their own way. And at the end of the day, you saw what happened with the Diddy trial. What happened to the lead prosecutor in the Diddy trial?
What did happen with that?
She got fired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, James Comey's daughter.
Shorty, not a Fed case, but state case, the Y&W case, the prosecutor got fired.
Yes.
So it's like, I think it's different now that we're seeing a lot of people worth a lot of money. And it's fucking with the reputation that the feds have because they have such a high conviction rate due to the plea deals. But you also have to understand the majority of people getting indicted do not have more than 100 grand. Probably don't have more than 20 grand. You know what I mean? And not for nothing, the feds, they punish the shit out of you. You can face a lot of time. So it's like, yeah, if you're facing 15, 20 years and they're like, yo, we're going to give you 3, sign off, people sign off. But when you have a lot at stake and you have a lot of money to fucking play with, we're seeing cases fall apart.